Alright guys, some big news out of Sonos. They've got a new product on the market, an entirely new product. Now, going back to say 2013, the Play Bar was launched, and the Play Bar was a big deal for their home theatre space. But what they realized was that 70% of TVs that you're buying aren't being wall mounted, and the Play Bar was really meant to be wall mounted. Now, if you put a Play Bar on top of an entertainment unit, it doesn't look very good and it doesn't function as good as it should as well. So they've introduced the PlayBase. Now, the PlayBase has taken them 3 years to develop and finally bring to market. Now, it's the thinnest Sonos product ever, and it's very, very thin. The specifications are, 58 millimeters in height, so it's quite thin, but it's a decent size, so it will hold the whole base of your TV. Essentially, the TV goes on top, and then it sits on the entertainment unit, so it creates that sort of flat speaker panel that the whole unit takes up there. Now, the cool thing about it is it's got inside the base 7 transducers, 2 tweeters, and 1 woofer built in. Now, the woofer is interesting because they're using an S port, which is basically a pipe that goes through the entire base to channel that bass to give it some decent depth of sound. But also, the funny part is that woofer, as it's being used, will pump air through the entire unit, which cools down the components inside, which is really quite smart from Sonos, because you don't want that bass to get hot, and especially you don't want it to get hot because it's not going to be entirely cheap. They're saying that the bass will cost the same amount as the current Play Bar. So if you are in the market for a home theatre solution, if it's being wall mounted, you'll buy the bar. If it's being sat on top of an entertainment unit, the bass is that option. Now, they're also saying that the bass is going to be perfect for whatever room you put it in. They're using True Play technology, which is what they've got in the market already, which allows you to create a visual or audio map of the room, and those speakers will adjust to suit that room for you, which is really quite impressive. We saw a demo of this product, we've heard it in action. It is very, very good. You obviously can buy the separate sub to go with it, but it's not going to be mandatory. This does have a bit more bass, in our opinion, than we saw in the Play Bar, but we need to do more testing on that. Now, the Sonos team have been extremely critical in design on this. Obviously, it did take 3 years to develop, but we're talking about thought into the smallest components, the actual holes on the grill that map around the entire device, 43,000 holes. But all the holes are not made the same. They are thinner at the front and they widen towards the sides because they want to get sound to travel better out the sides to really fill your room with sound. But they didn't want to make the holes too big that you could see through it and actually see the speakers and see the internal components. So they had to make sure that the holes were zigzag, because if they noticed that if they stacked them horizontally or vertically, that you'd actually be able to see through the grill. And these are things that the mad scientists at Sonos are actually thinking about. It's totally different, and it's amazing to see. The final thing I'll say on this is that it will take an optical input, not HDMI or anything like that. So straight from the TV with the thin cord, with optical straight into the PlayBase. It will still be Wi-Fi enabled, just like all Sonos speakers are, so you will still be able to use it in your home as you would a normal Sonos speaker for music as well. So available in black and white. This is something that we're excited to test in a bit more detail.